Yep. Hey,
Hello.
good morning, everyone. On this Memorial Day Monday, we are all back together.
Isn't that crazy that we're back together on a holiday?
Very odd.
right?
We do things
Drew was
weirdly
supposed to
around
be
here.
off today.
Yeah, I screwed that up.
What made you change your mind?
This is a boring answer, but essentially I was tasked an assignment that is due Wednesday here at work, and at the completion of my shift on Friday, I was not done the assignment, nor was it close to being done to where I felt good about coming back Tuesday and completing the assignment. I felt like it had to be completed today. And I thought if I'm going to complete it today, I might as well come into work today.
Yeah.
So here I am working.
Text me if you do that. I would have taken your day.
Yeah,
Is that right?
same.
No, come on.
a
No,
lot.
I looked. Neither one of you put in for Memorial Day. I asked.
I did. I asked.
I
really?
asked too, and they
And I
said, no,
couldn't.
Drew is gone.
Yeah, so thanks, Drew.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Ron,
This
it's so
Sunrise
good to
Extra is
see
off
you,
to an awkward
though.
start. Yes, good to see you, Ron.
Yeah, it's I tell you, just the way things worked out. It was the first vacation I've had since the Christmas New Year's break, and I was so ready to be off. So it's good to feel rested, and I actually enjoyed sitting down last evening and putting together the forecast for today, and feels good to be back to work. Now, with that said, time off is a wonderful thing.
Always.
Apparently, Nina and Brenda wanted some of that time off today. I just found out. I apologize again. That would have been nice of me to give you a heads up. Let's talk about what the heck we're talking about today on Sunrise Extra, shall we? Because Rod and I both live in counties that are now reopened. I know Brenda.
No, Clark County is not open.
I thought Clark County was already in phase.
Were you in the newscast today, my friend?
Well, they
no,
put
there
it-
is an
It's at
outbreak at a
Phase two,
frozen
though.
food
Phase
plant.
two.
Yeah, in Clark County.
So they've dropped all the way back from phase 2 to phase 0?
So phase
Thank you,
2 is
Rob.
just like phase 1 in Oregon.
Yeah, but they're still in phase 1, Nina.
Right.
Okay, so they're reopened.
So what's open?
Now we got to go through that list. All I was
You
trying
know,
to
I
do
will
was a
say-
simple.
I will
It's
say
not
this.
restaurants and all that stuff that most people think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
But
As
you know
I was
what's going
saying-
on up here in Clark County? Pardon me, Mr. Clark County has the floor. All right. I've noticed in the last week or so a number of smaller restaurants that could have been open, that could have had takeout, but chose not to.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those restaurants I've noticed have now opened. So I want to say there are very few spots remaining that can be open that are not open. Does that make sense? So it feels like things are really starting to get more busy up here overall.
Fact of the matter is this: we want to hear from our viewers this morning because you can get out and experience things that you couldn't just a couple of weekends ago. So the question we're putting out there was, how have you spent the last couple of days looking into the future? That future being today. How do you plan to spend your Memorial Day? Like Rod just said, there are a lot of businesses now reopened that were not before. So are you out there? Are you experiencing those businesses again? Are you personally feeling like you're not ready yet to get out and reopen yourself to the world? We want to hear from those viewers. We put a post out, our producer did, Jessica Smith, about an hour ago, asking that very question on Facebook. But of course, you can also jump onto the live stream. We're with you on Facebook here, as well as YouTube, and you can give us your live comments. I can pull up some of those comments from the post we put earlier. And there's it runs the gamut, guys, from Patty Wells Pate saying, staying at home. Oh, we have comments that were put up on the screen. Thank you. Thank you, Robert. I'll just read those instead. Joe Schwartz Sr., good morning, Joseph, said, heading to 3 different cemeteries today, honoring those in the family that have passed, because today, of course, first and foremost, is Memorial Day, a day set aside each year to honor those servicemen and women who died for our country. We have Deborah also chiming in saying, we went to see our family. They have acreage, so family members brought their RVs. They're going to have an outdoor barbecue. They're taking pictures, sitting around outdoor bonfire, still respecting all social distancing.
That's awesome.
And then we have BB, Brian Brown, working to help get a restaurant reopened by this Thursday, is what Brian plans to do on his Memorial Day.
It's a huge task. I mean, Clackamas County was able to open on Saturday. And I mean, you've got to get, food orders in and rearrange all the tables and booths and figure out, just how this is going to work and get your employees back, the ones that, will come back, because we've heard those reports and done those stories of a lot of people are making more money on unemployment than they would coming back to work. But yeah, what a big undertaking. We have lots of friends joining us on Facebook. Good morning to you. Angela says she's been to the Texas Roadhouse since they reopened. Where is that, Angela? Let me know. Texas Roadhouse, that sounds good. Nikki J. Tate says, good morning. She wants to know, is it going to be hot today, Rod? No.
No, well, no. I mean, not hot. We think everybody at least hit 65 to at the warmest. It could be 70 with clouds, and again, we're getting a little bit of light rain right now. Hey, real quick, guys. I feel like this is a silly question, but I don't know the answer for sure. Is it a true statement that all cemeteries, as far as we know, are open for people in their cars to drive in and pay their respects? Is that true as far as we know?
There are rules in place now that weren't in place before, like the old normal, so to speak. I mean, they still have to observe social distancing. So they are, I know they put some restrictions on there. You can go to individual cemetery websites to find those out. But yeah, it's not business as usual, even at cemeteries, Rod.
I'm sure there are many that are open, but their
it sounds like
official ceremonies aren't happening.
Right.
Right, yeah.
I don't know, we're here
Well, that's
in
an important
Multnomah
thing to do
County.
today, for families that have visited gravesites.
Go ahead,
Go
Rod.
ahead, Brenda.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. The delay's getting me a little bit this morning.
No, I just want to say, that's an important part of today. And if there are people wondering if the gates are generally open at all the cemeteries, and it sounds like they are, but as Drew and Nina mentioned, some restrictions. But I know it's something my national cemeteries are open, Rob is saying. Because I know in my own case, my parents always go to the cemetery on today. So I know a lot of people will probably doing that as well. Anyway, all right, guys, go ahead.
Rod's home studio is sort of like the two remaining Oregon counties that have not reopened. He's still restricted by the delay there from his Vancouver studio. Brenda, Nina, and I are kind of like the other 34 counties in the state of Oregon. We are officially reopened, so to speak. And you guys can chime in right now on our Facebook feed. We have a viewer watching us this morning from Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh, wow.
Yes, Angela saying good morning from Louisville. How about that?
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I'm here in Multnomah County, and we live pretty close to Washington County, so I guess we could pop over there. But we really have been just staying put.
Yeah.
Multnomah County doesn't know when it's going to apply for reopening, so until it does, I guess I'm not going to a restaurant.
Brenda, I had the realization last week.
I know where you're going.
The light bulb went off in my head that my hair salon is in Clackamas County. It's in West Lynn.
Yeah.
I followed my guy he used to be in Portland, then he went to a salon that's out there. And so I texted him the day I heard they were open, and I was like, dude, can you move me up? Because he had been just moving us, back and back. And so I was June 10th, and he's like, well, I have an opening for June 4th. I was like, sign me up. So I cannot wait to get a haircut and color, and it's going to be really interesting to see. He hasn't texted me all of the changes and stuff that they're going to be doing at the salon, but I was just reading from the state guidelines. It's and my daughter has a dentist appointment this Thursday, and so they kind of told me what's going to be happening there, and it's the same at the salon. Is when you get there, you call from your car and say, okay, I'm here, I'm outside, and they'll call you or text you when it's okay. So there's no more waiting room or sitting inside waiting. They'll call you or text you when your chair is open, and masks are required. And then at the salon, customers have to be obviously separated. You can't really separate too far from the person that's doing your hair. But a lot of places can ask that you wash your hair before you come. So because when you think about it, you're in the bowl and they're right over you. I mean, everyone's wearing a mask. And some places I've heard, other salons, and I don't know if I'm gonna have to do this, but won't blow dry your hair at the end. You'll have to go home with wet hair because all of the air moving around. So interesting things ahead, but I am so excited.
Good news for those who cut my
place
hair.
is in Multnomah County, girl, so I am in it for the long haul.
We've discovered last week when Nina shared that she goes to a West Lynn salon to get her hair done that I actually go just a few feet away from her, probably a few 100 yards actually, but to a spot in West Lynn to get my hair done. It's called The Barbers. things there operate a little differently. In fact, I did ask them because I thought, okay, I'll go there and get a haircut this weekend. I certainly need one. Found out that they're only taking appointments, which I figured, but they're only taking appointments day of. So in other words, you call that day and you try to get yourself in that day. So it didn't work out for me yesterday. My hope now is to get in today.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
We'll see.
Yeah, that is like my #1 thing on the list, and then followed by a pedicure. What are your top 2 or 3 things when you can get them done?
100% the hair.
Yeah.
I've been like taking my little scissors and cutting on it.
You've been doing it yourself?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
brave.
Well, you know what? I started early.
Yeah.
So I don't think you notice as much,
Yeah.
but I can really tell it's getting long. Because I usually would get my hair cut every 3 weeks. It was that short.
So you'd have 3 haircuts at least since this all started.
Yep. But
Ron?
you know what I
Oh,
realized?
sorry.
I can do without that. I think I'm going to be way more low maintenance after going through
Good,
this
cool.
particular thing. Yeah, save some money, I guess.
One of the
Rod, what
lessons
are
of
your
the
top
pandemic.
like 3 things you want to do? Or maybe you've
Well,
started.
like Brenda, I typically get my hair cut every 3 weeks, so I've missed, I think 3 haircuts, and I'm on the books for June 2nd. But as we reported on the news early this morning, Clark County's next stage has been put on hold, so not sure. But the thing that I just really miss the most, and it's not even close, I miss just going out to eat.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when that is okay to do, to go into a restaurant and sit down and order, I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Really looking forward.
I have never experienced restaurant food in takeout form that matched the experience in the restaurant itself, right? I mean, something happens in the travel.
Yeah.
And the quality drops off at least a little bit in all experiences.
Yeah.
So Christina DeWitt says, got a call from my nail lady. She'll be opened on June 1st. Definitely looking forward to
Oh
a
my
manicure and
gosh,
pedicure.
same.
She's with you, Nina.
Yeah. There's going to be some, that's what I said last week, some gnarly footsies coming in.
No.
Yeah. It's going to be bad news bears on that.
Come on, no foot.
I just
no
want
foot
like
images,
I
Nina.
know I hate feet too, and that's why I need to go.
One of the areas that we thought might see a rush of traffic was the coastal towns, right? Because those coastal towns were reopened this weekend or have been reopened now. And we were waiting to see what that would look like. We reported about that on our newscast throughout the morning. Things were not out of hand. I mean, that was the good news, right? And a lot of the people we spoke to said that they noticed people being respectful, using social distancing still, being respectful of other people that were in their storefronts. In Astoria, in fact, they had their Sunday market yesterday, and that definitely did not look like a typical Sunday market in Astoria. The crowd way down.
Yeah.
And then we heard from the mayor of Astoria who said, that's good.
Fine.
You know, we're happy to be reopened, but we're not ready for the crowds yet.
We've got some more viewer comments. I think they can put them up there on the screen. Michael says, we did a quick day trip to the coast and packed a picnic lunch. The locals are not enamored with their beaches filled with non-residents who may bring in the virus. Governor Kate is wise to suggest staying local this Memorial Day, but Michael got out. Patricia says, traffic was horrible in Newport yesterday and Walmart was packed. It was ridiculous how many out-of-state plates were out. I know not all of them are tourists, but I haven't seen that many out-of-state plates since this started. Interesting. Yeah, just a little bit of a sampling of our viewers. Yeah.
And rentals and like Airbnb vacation homes start in Cannon Beach and Seaside tomorrow.
Yes.
So next weekend, what's the weather for next weekend, Rod? This is going to play a big factor in how many people are, booking trips and stuff.
Doesn't look great, if I remember correctly, Rod.
Right now, Saturday looks to be a day that we absolutely see thunderstorms develop during the day along the Cascades. We think we'll get some of that rain moving into the valley. Now, that could mean the coast is actually drier than the valley and the mountains will be. And then Sunday, usually if we get a good firing of thunderstorms, it's typically cloudy the next morning. So that would give us a cloudy Sunday morning and then afternoon sunshine developing. 77 Saturday, 67 Sunday. So that thunderstorm outbreak potentially is the big story for the weekend.
You guys, does he not look like a politician with the red, white, and blue and the glasses and like the perfectly manicured beard?
A politician who does
office.
not have my vote. I'll tell
Can
you
I
that
just
right
say, Wait a minute. Hold on. Can I? You know, I have a really cool flag tie, and then today I wanted. This is the first time I've worn a tie at home, but I felt like it was important to put a tie on for Memorial Day. And I like this. It's just a simple red, white, and blue tie. I bought this on a Macy's discount table for $5 some years ago, and but I love it for a patriotic tie. It's just nice and simple, and as we salute our veterans and those who gave their lives today.
Rod, I like you with the scruff.
Yeah.
True, why did you decide to shave yours?
Do you?
I do.
I do too, Rod. I do too. Yeah, keep showing it. Keep working it. I'll answer Brenda's question as you show off the good looks there. There was a moment Saturday morning where Mia said something to the effect of, I think I'm done with the beard now. And that sounded like a good enough reason to get rid of it. And I told Nina yesterday, too, I got out of the shower on Sunday, and I looked in the mirror, I was like, whoa, that chin was looking super white. Like, it was just like bold, white, and old looking. And
You look so much younger with it gone.
Yeah, you do.
Yes.
Yeah.
So at first I shaved that, and that's all I had, and then I kept this for the rest of the day, and they were like, kids were like, what does that look, right? Then I got rid of this, and then I just had like the goatee thing going, and I was pretty much told that looked awful as well. And then I went into phase 3 and got rid of all of it.
Oh my God, my boyfriend is having a field day not shaving. And like for a long time he did, and I'm like, you gotta take some of that off right above the lip. Because like when we kiss, that's a little scratchy.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he took that off, but he had like kind of a beard, and I thought, you look like Wolverine now.
Yeah.
It's like this
Yes.
weird in between, so then he just kind of took it all down and is starting all over again.
I could tell you, my kids were actually a little bit embarrassed when they saw the one look where I had gotten rid of the chin, but I kept the hair down here, and I could see the look like, hey, we had a couple of kids coming over to ride bikes with them on Saturday, and they're like, you're not gonna like let yourself be seen.
They were embarrassed.
And but yeah, their buddy Mike came over and he's like, Coach Carney, looks good. I said, thank you, Mike. I've always liked that kid.
Oh, Mike.
Hey, oh, by the way, just to, I didn't say this right away, but when you asked Rod about the weekend forecast, including the coast, because Cannon Beach and Seaside reopening, rental properties and hotels starting tomorrow, that leads into tomorrow's Sunrise Extra. How about that, Nina, Brendan, Rod?
what is
Because
it?
tomorrow we have a guest. We have the general manager of both the Surf Sand Resort and the Stephanie Inn, two of the most popular properties down there in Cannon Beach. So the GM will join us. I've never met him in person. I'm told he's a character. I said we can only handle characters for long interviews here on Sunrise Extra.
Yeah.
But he's going to join us and talk about that decision. Clearly, it was they made a point to not do it over Memorial Day weekend, try to keep those crowds at bay. But they are going to open up tomorrow. They have some new rules in place, things that they've done at both properties that will no longer be happening. New amenities that are now a part of the equation to help people with, like, for example, they used to have the coffee service down in the lobby. Go down there anytime you want, get a cup of coffee. Out. That's not happening. But every day they will take coffee to your room. So it's, to me, that sounds better, right? A perk.
Seriously, yeah.
So he'll talk about that, and also
Yeah.
he has his pulse on the community down there in Cannon Beach and in the North Oregon coast, so he can just talk about what it's been like the last few days and weeks as they start to reopen.
Stephanie Inn has just gotten rave reviews. I've never been down there. Have you guys?
I've never stayed there,
I did a live shot years ago, pre-Channel 8 days. Like, I think I was still at the other place, and so we're going back to like 2003. But we stayed the night at Stephanie Inn as part of that broadcast and woke up the next morning. It was fun, and there was a memorable moment where I ran out to the water with a bathrobe on, and of course the bathrobe started to fall off as we ran out, and the cameraman just like kind of panned down, timed it just right so you didn't see what was beneath the bathrobe.
Oh, man.
I promise you it was a full set of clothes, but you didn't know.
I was waiting,
We left things in doubt.
as you always do. I love that. What'd you guys do this weekend? We only have a couple more minutes, but how'd you enjoy the weekend?
We were kind of homebodies. I am catching up on some classic, like great series that I missed the first time around, or I didn't make it all the way through before the season or the series finale. The Wire, and we're going back. I think I dropped off in like season 4 or 5 of Game of Thrones.
Oh, wow.
So that is some hefty watching.
Yeah.
We went out for a walk.
Yeah.
Not a lot. Super low key this weekend.
Cool.
We're catching up on a series that I'm not necessarily going to recommend to anyone, but it's working for our family. It's like the one sitcom that we've ever found that appeals to both us, the adults, and the kids, and it's the Goldbergs. It's been on ABC for like ever.
yeah.
Never watched an episode, not even a second in my life. But a
Yeah.
couple of weeks ago, someone said, "Yeah, you guys should watch that." And I think we're on season 4 now.
There you go.
But they have that problem on that show, like most sitcoms do with kids. As the younger kid grows a little older,
Not
he
as
becomes
funny.
awkward
Yep.
and not as cute or funny. Yes.
Have you ever seen Fresh Off the Boat? I think it was on ABC too.
I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
I bet your boys would love it, and you would. I mean, it is like very, very funny.
Okay.
And
All right.
because it's got some kids in it, and they are just characters, hilarious. Growing up in like the 90s. And so there's a lot of stuff to identify with, like, you know, back then.
Sure, and that's the Goldbergs' idea, is that it's a kid growing up in the 80s.
Yeah,
In
kinda-
Philadelphia to boot, so that appeals to me.
Oh,
There you
cool. I
go,
didn't
there
know
you
that.
go.
Yes. So we can wrap this up. Rod, what we like to do as we wrap up Sunrise Extra, we kind of just like to look at each other. You can look right up in the air right now, Rod, and you can take a look at Brenda there above you as I look at Nina. And then you kind of turn appropriately to look at,
Wow,
at
okay.
Nina as I look at Brenda. And then I can look right at you, Rodney, as you look at me. I hope you're turning the right way.
He's not. That's okay.
There you go. All right. Hey, hey, hey.
Am I?
He can't see anything to his.
We're getting to know each other all over again
Yeah,
here, gang, on
exactly.
Sunrise Extra. Hopefully our viewers join us tomorrow for the broadcast.
All right. Bye, you guys. We'll see you tomorrow.